My name is Eric Rupert. I'm the chef and founder, owner of Fortune Favors. And we're here to talk about cheese and how to pair cheese and our pecans. And in this case, we're going to be working most likely with Marika Gouda. She's up in northern Wisconsin. Even most people don't understand that our pecans and great cheese is a match made in heaven. They're amazing together. Okay, so you're going to create an experience for the customer that, frankly, they will remember probably forever. So it's good for the customer. It's good for our brand, certainly, for Fortune Favors, because people remember it. It is good for the store because they are going to probably sell more stuff. And it's also great for the cheesemaker. We do have this ability with Fortune Favors to enchant a moment, to bring magic to a moment, to bring stillness and people into the moment. And that is a really, really important reason that I personally and professionally do what I do. How many people are we going to create a little moment of joy, whether that be through experiencing the tasting or in the gifting and sharing, because that happens. And in this case, we're going to create these moments not only with pecans, but also with some amazing, amazing cheese. Doing a cheese demo along with pecans requires a few more parts. And I just want to touch on those really quickly. Don't get too stuck on all the exact parts. Our good friends at the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin, they will be sending out new materials, things like this, and little stickers, and there'll probably be a few other things. And Marika is going to send you guys some cheese directly and some of the parts, some of the marketing things. So I will acknowledge right up front, it takes some space on the table. I've been a little generous here. I'm working with a 4-foot table here. I know those Whole Foods carts can be a little smaller, so we need gloves because we're going to be touching food. I've got a couple boards here because I have 2 varieties of cheese. We don't know at this point what Marika's going to be sending you guys. That is driven by what the stores are carrying that you're going into. I have a 3rd cutting board here that I use for the actual cutting. These are for display and for sampling. Toothpicks. That's I think an important piece of the puzzle. We don't want people grabbing with their bare hands, so I have toothpicks there, and a small knife. It doesn't need to be a large knife. So let me get into how we cut things. The other piece that I think is important is some disinfectant wipes. That's for cleaning the knife for the most part. My absolute go-to, without fail, for pairing pretty much any cheese, in this case Marika's Goudas, with our pecans is the classic. This is the size and shape that it will come in. You can see there's a bit of a rind there. You've got the plastic outside, and you're going to want to have some sliced up in advance. You want to take the plastic off, obviously. Cheese is best served at room temperature, and yet you want to be holding it cold. We've got the rind here, and you don't want to eat that. Just take it off and discard it. So I'm going to cut it lengthwise, and you'll see the shape that that we get here. But what I'm aiming at is a really attractive little wedge, and then we'll line these up on the board here. Really, because they're so long, they don't have to be thick. Now, if you had 2 varieties or even 3 varieties, you're going to do this. They're all going to be the same shape. So what I like to do in terms of making it look pretty, which I lay them down kind of going in opposite directions here. I just think that looks nice, and the good folks at Marika also would agree. They like the way that looks. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay. Now that is a whopping total of 7 samples. I can usually get about 10 to 12 out of a wedge. I like to have about 30 to 40 slices of cheese cut. If the store is really busy, you're going to go through those pretty fast. And because we're going to be really engaging with customers because of the cheese and the pecans together, I like to get a little bit ahead, and it gives the cheese a chance to come up to room temperature as well. I will oftentimes pre-toothpick them. Now, this shape and toothpicks are not the perfect, it's not the perfect thing, but it works. And a lot of times what people do is they'll pick it up and kind of put their hand under it or have a napkin. You might want to have some napkins available too. Let me back up just a bit. Marika is actually from the Netherlands, and we are working with, she makes nothing but Gouda, or as they would say if you're in the Netherlands, Gouda. It is the national cheese of the Netherlands. As the story goes, Marika moved to the US. She comes from a dairy family in the Netherlands, studied dairying and dairy science in the Netherlands, moved here. She was really missing her cheese. She started making her own Gouda. Fast forward to today, as I mentioned, she's the most decorated female cheesemaker. It's a real treat to be able to work with her cheeses. So we're just gonna have to pretend that a customer comes up. Hey, how's it going? I'm gonna make you a promise today. I'm gonna promise this will be the best pecan you have all day. And then I'll usually say, well, yeah, it's probably gonna be the only pecan that you have today, but there's a really good chance it's gonna be the best pecan you have your whole life. For most people, they're all about that. So they've tried the pecan. I give them a pecan. I also, just a reminder, I love handing things to people. I think the act of offering something up, whether people know it or not, there's a generosity and a kindness and a providing for people. I think whenever possible, I like to hand things to people. It also helps me when I've got other flavors out. I always like to start people with a classic. So I can basically control that process. Now, to be clear, our other flavors go really well with the cheeses too. The everything, the spicy, even the spark. They've tried a couple pecans, and I'm letting them have that moment because usually it's going to be, oh wow, I didn't expect that. Then I'll say, yeah, that's pretty good too, isn't it? And I'll say, hey, tell you what, do you want to play a really fun food game? And who's gonna say no to that? And people are like, oh, well, sure, yeah. Now, to be clear, when people see cheese on a table, that's going to catch their attention. In fact, sometimes it catches their attention more than the pecans. And so what I tend to do is I say, yep, we're going to get to the cheese. I promise we're going to get to the cheese. I say, well, I want to start you with the pecan. We're going to get to the cheese, but let's start with the pecan. Okay, so they've had the pecan, and they're having a moment. And then you say, hey, how would you like to play a fun food game? And go, oh, sure. So, okay. Now, they may or may not have any pecans left. If they don't, just give them some more. And say, okay, now you've already had the pecans, but I want you to try another one. Just one at a time, kind of be with it, notice it. And then you can hand them a piece of cheese. Okay, I want you to try a bite of the cheese. Okay, just on its own. Okay, and they'll, because the cheese is amazing, they're, oh man, okay, so now here's the game. I want you to try them together at the same time. This is really important. This is a big deal because this is the part that most people don't understand because they've just never put these two things together. It's our jobs to make sure that they get it at the end of this, okay? So I say, okay, now I want you to try them together, and I'm just going to kind of leave you alone with that for a second, all right? 99% of the time, you could just see them like do everything that I want to happen, which is having that moment. Then they may have already had them with pecans. They may have had them with just the cheese, but now they've taken it to the whole new level. And this will register for most people as one of the most memorable food experiences they've actually ever had in their lives. A lot of people that we're going to cross paths with at Whole Foods primarily, they've done a lot of fine dining over the course of their lives. They've probably done a lot of traveling. They've had some amazing food moments in their lives. This is going to be one of them. I guarantee it. This is going to be one of them. That gets into our beings when that happens to us deeply, and that's what we want. That's absolutely what we want. So you have that ability, and I think one of the really critical points that I want to make here is I give them space to have that moment. Okay, and then when you see them kind of reemerge or come out of that moment, then I engage and I was like, so how'd that work for you? Knowing full and well how it worked for them. Because I'm watching them the whole time, really. And they're like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. Now, if there's somebody else standing around that they don't know, or maybe they do know, most likely they will say, "Oh, you have to try this." To which I say, "We did not practice this. They just had a moment and they want to share it with you." Within this micro moment, you've created community instantly. Maybe 3 people, but that still counts as community in my book. So we're all about that, and we have the ability to do that with these pecans and these cheeses. Really quick, I want to touch on other flavors. The everything. If you're working with Marika's Goudas, the everything also goes brilliantly well with all of the Goudas. The spicy also works well with with the Goudas. The mesquite, it goes well with the smoked cheese. It's a little sort of that smokiness of the mesquite, the smokiness of the cheese. They pair up pretty well. I think it also goes well if they've got Marika's Young, is what they call it, the young cheese. The Spark, which personally I find maybe the most challenging in terms of what to pair up with cheeses. I think it goes well with the young, also the mature, which is one that you might come across. The other piece of advice I'd give you is try them. Like absolutely, even before you do the demo, do all the things I just taught you to do because you're going to understand what I'm talking about, and you're also going to be better able to create those moments for the people that are coming up. I would also recommend strongly, very strongly, make sure you get some pecans and cheese over to the folks at the cheese counter because they probably know that they go together, but they've probably never done this specific combination. I probably don't need to tell you what that does in terms of building relationships. And at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're building community, we're building relationships. And the folks that are working there that are stocking the cheese and recommending the cheese and the pecans, those are our most important people. Truly, those are our most important people. So get with them, and you're going to create that moment for them as well. They may already be fans of the pecans and of Marika's cheese. They may even have done it before, but you're just going to bring some delight and joy to people that are in the middle of their workday, and that's a really really good thing. They're going to remember it far more likely, far more likely to recommend the pairings. They're watching people all day long that are clearly shopping to build some sort of charcuterie board, and the likelihood that they're going to say, "Oh, make sure you pick up a can of these because of here's the cheeses you're getting." Um, they will go from okay, I got to cut and wrap a bunch of cheese and get a bunch of shelves stocked, to I'm going to create that same moment for people that you just created for them. I know the group that's doing this. You're going to kill it. You're going to crush it. And honestly, it's a super fun thing to do. It's one of my favorite things. It's all started very organically. I would go in to do demos. I think this came out of, I was doing a demo over here and they had a passive cheese demo like 6 feet from me. And I just went over and took a few pieces of cheese, brought them over by me, and had people do it, and it came from there. And then I started, when I go in to do a demo, I talk to the cheese folks and say, "Hey, if you'd like, I can demo a cheese for you while I'm doing my demo." Most often they'd say yes, and it's a win-win-win-win. Win for the customer, that's number one. Win for our brand, Fortune Favors. Win for the cheesemaker, and win for the store. I could probably add a fifth one there. Win for the mockers that are there, because number one, it makes their job easier. They can go deeper with their customers. It increases their department sales. So really have a good time with it. Make sure you try it yourselves, and more than anything, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is not something any other brand is doing. I should have started that at the beginning. This is cutting edge demos, nationwide, worldwide. Nobody else is doing anything like this. Lean into that. Be your brilliant selves. Know that you're creating joy for people, and just have fun with it. All right? Thanks, guys.